Example number 2 now, in our basics of quadratic equations, and I'm going to say that is x squared minus 9 is equal to 0, right? So you may have learnt in your class to actually, another way of writing the same thing is to say x squared is equal to 9, right? So if you were given any of these two equations, remember that we are dealing with a quadratic equation here, and we want to try and get it into standard form. Standard form is always the form that works towards equaling 0, so ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. And what we want to do over there is we want to say, okay, I've got, this looks more like that form, because now I've got an a value of 1, I've got a b value of 0, and I've got a c value of negative 9. And this is the ideal form that we are looking for. Now often when students try and solve this thing over here, they say, well, it's x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 9, and therefore it's equal to plus or minus 3, and that means it's either positive 3, right, or x is equal to negative 3. Now this is particularly important, right, because where does this plus or minus come from? Is it really there? Is the square root defined as a plus or a negative? The reality is that solution comes from this over here. So I always encourage the students to work towards equal to 0, and here you can clearly see that that is a perfect square, and that is a perfect square separated by a minus sign. So that means it's a difference of squares, and so I can simply factor it. I've got x in each bracket, I've got negative 3 over here and positive 3 over there, and that's equal to 0. Now I apply the zero product property, and I say that's my a first factor, that's my b as a factor, capital A, capital B as factors, and now that's going to give me x plus 3 based on the theorem that we've just learnt. X plus 3 is equal to 0, or x minus 3 is equal to 0. And that implies that x is equal to positive 3, because I add 3 to both sides. By adding 3 over there, I get rid of this, and what I do to the one side I must add to the other side, and therefore I end up with that over there. And then I got x plus 3 is equal to 0, so this means take it to the other side, or subtract 3 from both sides, or minus 3 from both sides, and that cancels. I'm left with negative 3 on this side. So that is example number 2, okay, where we had a simple difference of squares. We'll look at some more quadratic equations in a moment.